Good afternoon, Riverside. Today we are going to talk about classroom behavior. We need to remember to respect everyone, respect education, and respect the environment in the school. Respecting everyone means keeping your hands and feet to yourselves, being a good bystander. Once again, being a good bystander is hard to define, but sometimes just if you ignore a problem, it's not going to go away. And if you can help somebody else out by letting a teacher know or something like that, that is being a good bystander. Using kind words and being an active listener. Respecting education means being prepared, following staff directions, and being to class on time. Respecting the environment means cleaning up after yourselves. Recycle if you're in the classroom. Put paper in the recycled paper bin. Use equipment responsibly. If you're in a lab setting, maybe that's something. Maybe it's a textbook, but use that equipment responsibly. And then finally, if it's a time where a teacher needs you to speak quietly, please speak quietly at a level 1 voice. This first video is going to be Mr. Camrath and Mrs. Clark explaining what they have for expectations in the classroom here at Riverside Middle School. Let's take a look and see what they have to say about classroom expectations.
I'm here as 6th grade teacher Mr. Camrath and 7th grade teacher Mrs. Clark. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
Great. Thank you.
So I'm going to ask you a couple questions about classroom behavior.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So first question, what are your guys' expectations for classroom behavior?
You go ahead, Mrs. Clark.
Well, I think that it comes down to respect, which we've talked about in the past. I feel like if students are respectful and doing their job, that makes the whole class environment, much better. And we can get our work done, and then we can have just a much more enjoyable, pleasant experience if everyone is doing their job.
My expectations for class are that, first of all, the kids follow the classroom expectations and procedures that the teachers set in place. For a lot of teachers, they have some type of a warm-up activity or something that they do right when they come in. I would expect kids to be able to follow those directions, and then, again, be respectful, like Mrs. Clark said, and making sure that you're giving everybody in the class an equal opportunity to learn.
What do you notice that kids don't do so well in the classroom?
Well, I think the kids know the expectations. I think that's been clearly laid out, especially by this point in the school year. I think that sometimes they want to push the limits and see what they can get away with as far as having fun or talking out or not following the guidelines that are in place. And I think that can lead to frustrations with the other classmates who are trying to get their work done, and with teachers who need to get through the material they need to work through. And then sometimes I get upset with that because I want to do fun things with the class, and then sometimes kids take away from that opportunity for all of us.
Yeah, I think those are all great points, Mrs. Clark. I see things that my students can improve on are they get off task really quickly. They find themselves doing things they shouldn't be doing, and they're very talkative with others around them. I think they need to do a better job of staying focused on what the task is at hand, and then making sure, again, they're respectful not only to their teachers, but also to the students that are in the classroom who are trying to learn and get the most out of their education.
What do you notice that kids do well in the classroom?
Well, I think the majority of the kids come in and they do their job. They want to learn. They want to interact in a positive way with their peers and with their teachers. So for the majority of the students, they are doing their job and doing what they should. And I feel like they're frustrated too with sometimes the kids that are looking always for that opportunity to be off task.
I would agree. I think that a majority of our kids are doing a really good job of staying on task and doing what they're supposed to be doing, whether it's taking notes, doing a classroom activity, or doing their homework. We do have some kids that, again, are taking away the learning of others around them, and it would be nice if we get everybody on board so that everybody has a positive learning environment to get the most out of their education.
How do you think the students can change their behavior?
I'm going to try this one first, Mrs. Clark. I think it's really up to you. It's about self-control and choosing to be a better student, being more respectful, following directions, caring about your homework assignments and your tests and quizzes and taking pride in your work. I think if you do that, you're going to be much better off.
Right, and I always tell my students, you are here, you are in the classroom, you might also work and listen and make the most of your learning experience. And if we can do that, then it works well for everyone, and then we can have small rewards and do different things that make the learning more fun. But that all becomes difficult if there are a couple students pulling everyone off task.
Well said, Mrs. Clark.
Thank you for letting me interview you. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
In this next video, Sophie is going to ask Mr. Spielman a few questions about classroom rules, expectations, and behavior. Take a listen as she goes over these rules with Mr. Spielman.
Hi, Miss. I'm here with Mrs. Spielman. How are you doing today?
Good, thanks.
I'm here to ask you some questions about classroom rules. So what are your rules about water bottles?
Water bottles. Students are allowed to bring their water bottles to class or to school as long as it's just water. We don't accept Powerade or Gatorade or any other colored liquids. If you buy something at lunch like apple juice, that needs to stay in the lunchroom, just like all other food.
What are your rules about cell phones?
Good question. Cell phones need to be turned off during the school day. We highly recommend that students leave them in their lockers so that they're safe. If you feel you need to use your cell phone for class, please ask your teacher before bringing it to class.
And what are your rules about headphones and speakers?
That's a good question, because oftentimes students listen to music on their cell phone. So same thing, please leave your music, please leave your headphones, your earbuds in your locker. If you need to use them, ask your teacher before bringing them to class. We do not want to see students wearing earbuds around their neck. You will be asked to put them away in your backpack or take them to the locker room. The same is true for the speaker systems. Please don't walk through the hallways and play those. Please don't play them outside on the grass. Leave them turned off until they're off school property.
Now last question. What are the rules about the backpacks?
Oh, good questions. Backpacks. We know a lot of students bring the backpacks to school. If you have a regular sized backpack, you can bring it to school and put it in your locker. But during the school day, the only backpacks that are allowed are the drawstring backpacks. You can take the drawstring backpacks to class, and at the end of the day, if you feel like you need a regular sized backpack, you can put it into your locker and then take it home at the end of the day.
That answers all my questions, so thank you.
Have a good day, RMS.
Bye.
Classroom behavior looks different in every area. These students are working in the tech ed room, and they aren't necessarily asked to be quiet, but they're really actively learning and working on their projects. These next couple clips are going to show different areas. One is going to be a group that's listening to a teacher, and they're really quiet and attentive and paying attention to the front of the board. Another group has a set of Chromebooks out, and that looks different as well. And then finally, the last group is at a set of computers, and that looks different as well. So just remember, when the staff member or your teacher asks you to do something, if you can follow those directions, that would be great. Learning looks different in every environment, and so should these clips.
On their own and together as a team. Like the systems of the body, they are groups of parts that work as teams, each team with its own job to do. And these jobs include